Another day, another story of the Aeons. Let's go ahead and check out part 4 of Nova Impact's Explaining the Aeons.
Power. The aspect of influence that enforces control. And there is nothing more powerful in the Honkai Star Rail universe than the Aeons. And not only because they are literally manifestations of path imaginary energy given form, but they're also some of the most fascinating things in this story that drive the plot from a space unattainable to mortals, leaving us all to wonder what they're doing and what they're about. And it is my mission to get to the bottom of what lies on top. So I've set out on this journey to explain every single Aeon in Honkai Star Rail, and in the last video we went over Ho-Oh of the Equilibrium and IX of the Nihility. And let me tell you, things got weird. But if you thought those Aeons were wild, I got something truly special for you all today.
Oh, there's
because
more?
in this video, we will be talking about Idrila the Beauty and Lan the Hunt. And to be honest with you, these might just be the most bizarre Aeons on this entire list.
Okay.
So without further ado, this is Honkai Star Rail Aeon Ascensions Explained. Okay, so going over the structure of how these videos work, I will go in alphabetical order to explain how every Aeon ascended, what they do, how they interact with other Aeons, and what this means for the universe itself. Good? Good.
I still think my personal favorite is Aha, second being Fuli.
Alright, so allow me to introduce a very popular Aeon whose whereabouts are unknown, and they may also be dead. None other than the Wonder Gazer and the Goddess of Beauty, Idrila. And ironically enough, we have no idea what this Aeon looks like. But what is fascinating about this detail is that this is going to be a major theme with this Aeon. Now, I want you to keep in mind this one saying because Idrila really revolves around these words. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
For sure.
Now, though we do not know how Idrila ascended, it can be easily understood from where they ascended from. Melustanen, the Agate world. And for those of you who are Remembrance followers can probably recall that this place was
I don't know what this is from, but this looks hilarious. I need to see this with the texting.
The Agate world.
I gotta see this.
And for
this
those
animation.
of you who are Remembrance followers can probably recall that this place was one of our potential routes before Black Swan got us caught up in Amphorius. And to think, we could be surrounded by crystals and rocks so beautiful that they led to the Aeon of Beauty's ascension, but no, we had to.
Oh man, so sad. Everyone died, man. Over and 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 over.
Melustanen is home to a Stellaron disaster
Oh
and is of course the home world of the Aeon of Beauty, so it is easy to understand that physical aesthetic does play a part in the path of beauty. But this is just scratching the surface. Because in the ancient Ascension myth, Idrila once claimed sole attribution of the beauty in all of the star zones and showcased the meaning and aesthetics within the cosmic landscape to heroes and villains alike, causing them to commit astonishing but often devastating acts all for their own pleasure. So this Aeon is yet another one that could care less about right and wrong and only cares about all that is beautiful. But what exactly
But beauty is so subjective.
Beauty? Well, here is where that saying beauty is in the eyes of the beholder comes in.
It's true.
Because Idrila doesn't have a concrete definition of what something beautiful is. And this is mirrored by the only beauty follower we've met so far, Argenti, who's endlessly sung the praises of Luca during his lack of a battle with Boothill and then with his battle against Luca himself. And you will notice that when he compliments his courage and honor for not conceding in the face of death, it's not something that is purely aesthetic, though he does describe it that way. And this is because the true meaning of the path of beauty is the pure and unshakable devotion to something.
You know, it reminds me a bit of Vega from Street Fighter. Vega is one of those freaky ass characters that's like, oh, it's so beautiful, I wouldn't want to harm it, but he's so tempted to, right? And it's so strange.
Now, whether this is to aesthetics or fighting or even to causing catastrophes, Idrila doesn't care. That is why their definition of the universe is described as ever-changing. This path means unwavering passion, dedication, and devotion. And that is the beauty of the universe. And this concept is reflected through all aspects and renditions of this path. Because, you see, of the two factions we know about, the Mirror Holders believe that Idrila has died and are currently trying to recover enough relics to potentially revive them. But the Knights of Beauty disagree, and instead do not subscribe to the idea of their Aeon being dead. So what they do is endlessly search
what do they
for
call
them,
it?
or at least that's what Argenti does. So both factions have two clashing beliefs, but the concept of dedication is still present in both. But if that's not enough evidence, let's look at the embodiment of the path of beauty.
You know, it's interesting with it being so like, beauty is the eye of the beholder and whatnot. You know, I could definitely see a way to say like the Aeon is alive through its followers, because they're so willing to say like, even if Argenti is dead, they're so religiously devoted that in itself they have this beauty, and that is what's keeping this Aeon alive, at least metaphorically. Physically, I'm not too sure.
In both. But if that's not enough evidence, let's look at the embodiment of the path of beauty, Idrila. Because as a creation of Iron Tomb, she was created to represent a path, and that path is beauty. And just like all of the other followers of the path, she delights herself in all things aesthetic, which is ironic because so many people thought she was blind, but that's besides
Wait, what?
the
Blind?
point. Because as the leader who was left in
Why?
charge after the fall of Idrila, Idrila established her reign, but in a much different way. Instead of using the Idrila Machiavellian schemes of it's better to be feared than loved, so execute all who oppose me, Idrila implemented her system of golden threads for the sole purpose of operating in a nation of trust and honesty. Because not only was she able to see through every lie told to her with her golden threads, but she would also know if anything so much as a petty crime occurred, meaning that she would hear and see everything all the time. And she kept this up for over 1,000 years.
Damn.
And even with her soul fading away, she sealed herself into a bracelet just to protect her Chrysosaurs one last time. This is the dedication and undying loyalty that would make Argenti cry tears of joy. Because it is this
so beautiful.
passion and devotion that is what the path of beauty truly means. And if I were to speculate on what Idrila means to the universe, they were probably incredibly powerful. Because even after their
My bad. Argilla. Argenti, Argilla, potato, tomato, bro.
potential fall, the Knights of Beauty are so strong that people really don't know where they get their power from. But I gotta guess, because since force of will is an aspect that Hoyo loves to make a hidden power that always comes through, even for villains, I think that this force of will thing and the path of beauty are one and the same. Just
Shout out
going
to
by the way
Otto
Hoyo likes to
Octavius.
write stuff, Idrila was most likely one of the stronger Aeons that probably got along well with other Aeons. I mean, heck, all other Aeons are dedicated to something, so much so that they literally cannot stray from it, so of course they would at least like the Aeon that represents that concept. But though Idrila is probably dead, this path will likely never die out because those who follow it are too devoted to stop. And as elegant and meaningful as the beauty is, let's talk about
That's the point of the
other side
devotion.
of things. Because now we gotta talk about Big Blue. None other than the Rainbow Arbiter and the Archer Lord of Fate, the Aeon of Friendly Fire themselves, Lan.
Friendly
and fun
fire.
fact, though Lan means mist in Chinese, it is pronounced the exact same way as the word blue. It's written the same way in
Huh?
canon, but not in characters. So my new name for Lan is Big Blue. Anyway, I have said a lot
Big
of
blue
stuff about
balls,
this
baby.
Aeon in the past, but do not think that I am simply going to repeat myself, because I got some new stuff about Lan that even if you've watched my previous videos, I still got some new stuff for you.
Okay.
For example,
Bro
though
cooking.
we know that Lan is from the Shanzhou and the Alliance predates their own Aeon, I guess you are wondering what Aeon the Shanzhou worshipped before Lan. What if I told you that it was Klapoth? Yes,
Oh.
the Shanzhou people were preservation followers.
Really?
So the full story of the Shanzhou is that they asked for immortality from Yaoshi, got said immortality from the Ambrosial Arbor, got Mara-struck because their bodies couldn't handle being immortal,
Yeah.
then swapped to preservation,
Damn.
proceeded to fight the abundance
You can
out
do
of
that?
spite, then gave rise to their own Aeon from a prisoner named Rainbow, who made
Oh.
a contract with the strongest of all the Heliobi to fire the first ever Lux arrow at a tree called Mudrasil and burned himself alive in the process.
Man, what the hell?
Heliobi are abominations of the
Bro, all of that is in text, bro. None of that is in CG.
abundance, by the way. So in technicality, Lan rose from a preservation path strider fighting against the abundance. This psycho
That's crazy.
is now Lan. And considering what Big Blue does, this makes a whole lot of sense. Because after 700 years, the Shanzhou Alliance officially changed their allegiance from Klapoth to Lan. They Aeon swapped again. The Shinjo has to be the most disloyal
Once a swapper,
faction in the cosmos.
always
They're
a
on
swapper,
their
bro.
third Aeon right now.
Who's
Shifting
next?
Back to Lan, I want to first say that this Aeon is the most unintentionally silly being in the cosmos. With the most silly one being Aha, but Aha is intentionally silly. Lan is... Let me explain, because what this Aeon does is fire their bow at whatever abundance thing they can find, which is planets most of the time. And Lan even gave their nuclear codes to the Shinjo because they do have the ability to call an airstrike in from Lan themselves. But as cool as this sounds, they really try not to do that, because Lan has absolutely no sense of subtlety or tact and will simply annihilate everything in the surrounding area regardless of if it is on their side or not, which has resulted in Lan on multiple occasions nuking their own flagships and their own generals.
The fuck?
Yes.
What?
This is Yueyu, a former general of the Yao Qing. She died to a Lux arrow, leaving Fei Xiao as her predecessor, who then dedicated herself to making sure Lan never fires their bow again, who was elected to become Lan's arrow instead, so at least entire worlds won't be reduced to dust because Lan doesn't know what holding back is. But what exactly are Lux arrows? Get this. They are stars that Lan fires with gravity.
What the
So
fuck?
it's not even an arrow. It's
Bro is
just
shooting
when
stars.
Lan throws the sun at you. Oh, and what they hit is not just one world, because Lan does not shoot from point blank range. These gravity-powered stars travel in a straight line and delete everything in their path until they hit the target.
Bro, this guy is a menace. He needs to be stopped, bro. Innocent beings just get destroyed, and to help his own people, he's destroying them too, bro. Whose side is he on, bro?
But if I told you that this was the only unhinged part about Lan, I would be lying.
We need another Aeon.
Lan is not a very strong Aeon and is known to have one of the most narrow paths. So you would think that those they give their power to would be weaker, right? No, that would make them stronger, because Big Blue overcompensates to make sure that their generals have a spiritus crafted from their own power, which give a buff so insane that generals are known to go toe-to-toe with Lord Ravagers, with the Yao Qing, Juming, and Fang Hu having run-ins with Selenova and the Luofu outright defeating Fantilia. So even though Lan isn't the strongest, they make sure their followers are very close to being so. But it is unknown if the...
Sheesh. Is it worth it? I ain't gonna lie, man. It's an interesting type of deal. Interesting dilemma.
Generals classify as true emanators since they inherit the spiritus instead of the power just belonging to them, which works out great for Lan because this Aeon is busy. In fact, this Aeon is apparently one that shows up to mortals quite often.
Really?
The only thing is that they move so fast that you can hardly ever see them. Let me explain. According to data log number 2, an astronomical observation system detected an entity moving at speeds too fast to be measured, causing gravitational waves and spatial disturbances, then fired a rainbow at a planet and the planet imploded. So from my understanding, Lan simply moving causes cosmic catastrophes because of how fast they move as they roam around firing gravity-propelled stars at planets that could very well hit their own followers.
What is wrong with him?
Not only is this Aeon unhinged and obsessed with killing an unkillable entity in the abundance, but they also have ADHD and can't sit still. This Aeon causes disturbances in space and disrupts gravity because their zoomies are too strong, with the ironic part being that they do the same thing as the abundance. They do just as much harm as they do good. So in being dedicated to hating on Yaoshu, Lan has become what they hated and they can't stop. The hunt never ends, which makes perfect sense because
they have terrible Aeons.
Preservation and abundance, vowing to stand for justice and destroying the abundance, but in abundance fashion, has no sense of subtlety. So,
bro, you cannot win.
they end up bending all the way around the same way the abundance does to doing bad again.
Y'all should have just stayed with the abundance, bro.
Idrila in every possible way, from the disloyalty of their followers Aeon swapping to the brutal and inelegant ways of handling conflict. One is alive and one is dead. Go figure. Because this is Honkai Star Rail Aeon Ascensions Explained. I hope you guys didn't.
These are literally two of the worst Aeons I have ever heard of, bro.
I forgot about this series. I told you guys I would follow through.
Oh my gosh, bro. Like, dude, you can give me a list of all the Aeons and which ones I want to follow. There's a few. Ones I don't want to follow, these two specifically.
We will get through every single Aeon. Eventually. Next up is Long in the fan favorite Mythos. And I know you guys can't wait to hear more about the enigmata that you all claim that I represent. But I don't. I am erudition and elation, and I give you guys facts and theories with a smile on my face. Because I truly love reading about these things and presenting my findings. Because a lot of this is absolutely hilarious to me. So I hope you all enjoy this series as much as I love making it and get hyped for the next update. What do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.
Alright, bro. For sure. These two Aeons are special. Special in a way where one is not around and the other one is around too damn much. Very interesting indeed. So, for sure, these two Aeons are on my list for the ones I wouldn't want to follow for sure. But if you would, let me know why, because I'm confused. Like, bro, the hunt is nuking everything that it goes around and hurts its own team, and the beauty one is just like not around. So yeah, y'all let me know in the comments down below, man. This is interesting. Yeah. I think I'm excited to see what the next Aeons are, because these two, honestly, we could put them over here in the corner and just pretend they don't exist, and only one of them would be an issue. So if you guys enjoyed the reaction, man, hit the like button, share with a friend. Shout out to Nova Impact and all the theory crafters in the Honkai Star Rail universe. And I will see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.